Since we already got a Steve Jobs movie a couple years ago starring Ashton Kutcher, which in my opinion wasn't the best movie ever made, and now they're redoing it with Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs, and it's directed by Danny Boyle and written by Aaron Sorkin, who also wrote The Social Network and Moneyball, who is a great writer. And with making another biopic about someone we've already made a movie about, and there's plenty of other straight to DVD movies, and we know the story, it's the responsibility to make a really great movie that will stand itself aside from the other Steve Jobs movie, make people want to forget about that movie and so forth. And this movie is tremendous. It is amazing. One of the best biopics I've seen this year, because we've seen the beginning a lot of them, and one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. What I like about Steve Jobs is that it's unconventional with its biopic telling. You know, you have the typical biopic movie. You have, you know, how the person got to where they're at, their rise, their fall. You know, with Steve Jobs, when he met Wozniak and, you know, he's worked for Apple, then he got fired by Apple, he got let go, then he had his other company, and then he returned to Apple. So you have a pretty long story that I think a lot of people do know. And you know, going into this, I think, you know, how are they going to make it different than the other Jobs movie? And what I like about it is, like I said, it was unconventional because it doesn't tell you, one, how they got together and made Apple. It jumps right into his releasing of Macintosh and pretty much how everybody hates him. And what I like about that movie also is how honest this film is with portraying Steve Jobs, because from what I've heard through other movies and, you know, interviews and things like that, is that Steve Jobs was a dick. And here, portrayed by Michael Fassbender, it shows completely. But the way he goes about it is that he has this vision of everything he wants to do, and he pushes people to their limits to get what he needs and brings out the best in them. And, you know, he might go about it in a wrong way, but it worked out for him. And, you know, Michael Fassbender just did an amazing job in this role. This is probably Michael Fassbender's best role ever, and it will get him an Oscar nom. He portrayed Steve Jobs so well and just spewed asshole. But you couldn't help but go along with his vision of Apple. I liked the story. I loved how they went about it. You know, they didn't waste any time showing how they got together. They would jump right into the releasing of Macintosh, and a lot of the time the film is on stage or behind the set of the releasing party of whatever they're releasing, if it's the Macintosh or his Next or the iMac. So you have all these different things that he's releasing, and it's just straight dialogue. And that, I love that, because one of my favorite movies of all time is Before Sunrise, and that movie is just straight dialogue for an hour and a half. And this movie is straight dialogue for 2 hours, and I love it. The conversations between Steve Jobs and the CEO of Apple, played by Jeff Daniels, gets so heated at time that I am not lying to you guys, that it feels like the climax scenes of Mad Max. So I loved the acting from Steve Jobs. Seth Rogen was surprisingly really good in here for his limited time in the movie. Jeff Daniels was really good. Kate Winslet was in it pretty much for the whole entire movie. She was beside Steve Jobs the whole entire time, and she did a great job. This is a great biopic that doesn't listen to its structure of other biopic movies and just jumps in and makes it its own movie with amazing dialogue. One of the best movies of this year, and I'm gonna go ahead and give Steve Jobs an A+. It's Just Watching Movies, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.